Hi everybody, Renegade 68 and or 7. Is that just my new intro phrase? I guess it is. Here with Somnium files, but not actually, not yet. So, this is going to be sort of a pre-game show, pre thing. We're not actually playing the game yet. Let's call it part I'll probably call this part 0 on YouTube. This is going to be me just talking about thoughts and some theories before actually going into the game. And during this section, by the by, and during this section, I will be discussing spoilers for all of the ZeroEscape games, so 99, Virtue's Last Reward, Zero Time Dilemma, just to future-proof myself in case there's ever more ZeroEscape games. I just mean the three, 99, Virtue's Last Reward, and Zero Time Dilemma, as well as Ever17. Why that specifically is because that's the only other thing by the same creator that I've played. I know he's done other things, but I have not played those, so please don't discuss spoilers for those. But I'll be discussing spoilers for the ZeroEscapes and Ever17 because those are what I'm familiar with. Okay? Are you okay with that? If you're watching this, you know that either you're familiar with those or you're going to get spoiled and you're okay with that? Okay? I think we're all clear. All right. So let's talk about some stuff. Something that actually drove me crazy during the course of Ever17 is that I kept wanting to talk about certain things from ZeroEscape, but I always stop myself because I'm like, no, I made a rule. I'm not going to discuss spoilers. And I want to do that for this series too. During the main LP, I'm going to avoid talking about spoilers for ZeroEscape and Ever17, although to not drive myself crazy, possibly during the break is what I'm thinking. Sometimes during the break, if there's anything that I really want to talk about regarding the older games and spoilers, I'll do that during the 30-minute break. But I'll give a warning if I'm going to do that, and I won't do that every time. Anyways, but during the main LP, I don't want to discuss spoilers for ZeroEscape and Ever17 because it's like a different game. It's not connected, as far as I'm aware. However, we'll be discussing spoilers right now, so let's do that. All right, first thing I want to talk about is I'm hoping this game has like a real villain, like a really real villain. Because I mean, okay, 99 had Ace, and Ace I think was a pretty good villain. I liked him a lot. But what I'm more getting at is that the mastermind Zero in that game was someone working for the greater good. And I was sort of okay with it because I thought Ace was really good as a villain. But it was still working for the greater good as the mastermind. Cut to the next game, VLR. And then we have Dio, and I mean, I didn't really like Dio very much as a villain. I didn't think he was handled very well. But more than that, who's the mastermind? Again, working for the greater good. I didn't mind as much in the first one. The second one, I minded a bit. Especially because the second one, it was sort of Akane again, not really, but sort of. But then you get to Zero Time Dilemma, and because VLR, the whole thing of the game is, okay, we have to prevent this actual bad guy from Zero Time Dilemma. Oh shoot, how bad is this bad guy in Zero Time Dilemma gonna be? He's still just greater good. He's still just greater good. Like, I made it so that 6 billion people die. How many did he make die? I forget. But that's because if I didn't, 8 billion people would have died, or something like that. Oh, and because I set this game up and you succeeded, now the world will be in a better place, and I knew it would happen. Oh, I'm a good guy still. They're all good guys, and it's especially jarring in Zero Time Dilemma because the villain of that game, quote unquote, the equivalent to Ace and Dio, what was her name? Mia? No, I forget. You know, the booby lady of the game. She ended up being like a killer, but they handled her in a different light than they handled Ace and Dio. They made her more sympathetic in the sense that where those two were maliciously evil, she was more crazy, and so they didn't have a proper confrontation takedown like they did in 99 and VLR. I didn't really like how it was handled in VLR, but they at least tried to do a confrontation takedown. Not the case in Zero Time Dilemma, so it just ended up being no villain. And then what happened when you... And then when I actually went back and played Ever17, which, to be fair, came first, so I gave it a little bit of leniency, even though I did end up disliking the ZeroEscapes a bit more in hindsight because of that. Ever17, no villain. Everybody's a good guy. All in this together. They set this up so that people wouldn't die. No one has to die. But the big mastermind wasn't a bad guy, and it just bugged me. And unlike in the ZeroEscapes, there wasn't even any bad guy who wasn't the mastermind. Everybody was a good guy. I swear, if I see another misguided good guy who kills half the cast, doesn't tell anything, and still calls for sympathy, Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know. What I really want is a mastermind, specifically more than anything, the mastermind to be a villain. But I don't know. So that's something I'm really hoping for is please, 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 mastermind, be a bad guy. Please, 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 please don't be doing this for some kind of greater good. Please, please just be evil. Please, please. Um, what else do I want to talk about? Amnesia. That's a pretty common trope in all of the games from the ZeroEscape creator that I've covered. There's always been somebody who's got amnesia. Seven had amnesia. K had amnesia. Q, no, you know who I mean, had amnesia. He wasn't technically Q. Blah blah blah. Um, and then Shonen Jump, the kid from Ever17 had amnesia. And so somebody always has amnesia, and I don't know. I kind of want there to be someone with amnesia. It's like it's weird. It's a trend, but I like it. I don't know. It's a trend. It's true that it's a trend. It's true that it's very stereotypical, but I like it. If they handle it well, I won't mind. Take a drink for any visual novel without an amnesia. Time to get sober. Yeah. Let's see here. What else do I want to talk about? Just so you're aware, going into this, I've not seen a single trailer. I've heard a lot of little bitty things, but I know there have been at least one trailer. Have there been more than one? I'm not sure. I have not seen any of the trailers. So I'm going to this blinder than you may think I am. I don't know. If you've seen the trailers, know that I have not. Um, I know that it's called I. I think it's called I because I think like what the main character's a detective or something, and it's like the Somnium files because the main character's a detective, and it has something to do with eyes. Where like there's a criminal specifically like they're killing. I don't know. Are they killing people and then like, but then like leaving eyes as their calling card? Was it something like that? I forget exactly, but I don't know. Let's see here. What else do I want to talk about? Um, as far as the eye thing goes, I don't know. The main character seems to be, as you said, Amonymous, Kibo looking guy, sort of, but like, he's a big boy. He's all grown up. Um, uh, but I don't know. His eyes look normal. I was expecting him to have like based on the image, his eyes look normal. I was expecting him to have like some kind of gouged out eye or something. He in the background of the image I took, it looks like circus environment. Like there was a carnival go round thing and stuff, and so that makes me think at least one of the scenes of the crime will be in a circus. I don't know if that'll be like the main scene of the crime or I'm very very blind to this game. Like in every game by this creator I've played so far, there's been multiple timelines. I actually don't know if this game is going to have multiple timelines. I hope it does because I love multiple timelines. I just love them so much. But I don't know, honestly. I honestly don't know. If it does, please, 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 if you have a flowchart, don't handle it the way you handle it in VLR. Please don't handle it the same way. Um, I just wasn't really following. There was a gameplay demo, but it was so long ago. Was there even a demo? I knew there was a trailer. I didn't know there was a demo. I've definitely not touched the demo. Um, but what was I saying? Oh, right. Yeah, so you distracted me, Amonymous. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, so Circus. I think Circus might be like a scene of crime, potentially. Um, yeah, okay, so what am I thinking about? Multiple timelines would be really cool. I mean, all the games I've played from so far have had multiple timelines, but that doesn't mean this one will. Maybe it won't. But if it does, I would probably enjoy it because I like multiple timelines and stuff. What else do I want to talk about? Ba-ba-doo-ba-doo. Geez, are we only 7 minutes into this? The only thing I really wanted to talk about, I really knew I wanted to talk about, was the thing about villains and wanting a big mastermind villain. A lot of alternative routes, please, yes. Time travel, superpowers, please, no. Time travel superpowers. What are my thoughts on that? Um, I don't know. Cause I mean, yeah, Zero Escape made time travel superpowers a big thing. Ever 17 sort of did too. So I don't know. I'm mixed. It's true that it'll be repetitive if he does time travel superpowers again. Um, we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. What else do I want to talk about? Will there be a scantily clad booby lady? To be fair, there wasn't really a scantily clad booby lady in Ever17. Maybe that's just a ZeroEscape thing, and he's gonna let that trend die. But yeah, Lotus, Alice, what's her face, Murder Face from Zero Time Dilemma. Will we have a booby lady? I don't know. It seems like the cover of the game that you can just buy, the game that you can buy, not the game that you can get digitally, is what was I saying? Oh, the cover of game that you can just you buy has like a girl on it, or some. No, not the cover, but like there's like she looks like a cat girl. I think I don't know, and she's pink. I'm not sure. I don't know. Is that the waifu? How many waifus will there be? How many waifus will I have to choose from in this Vijima game? Will there be 9 people? Will there be like a suspect cornering thing? Would there be a girl companion that goes psycho and an idiot sidekick that's there just to be rude? A girl companion that goes psycho. So we're talking about Clover. I like Clover, honestly. But I mean, she's my favorite from 999. I like her. Yeah, she goes psycho, but I mean, so what? You know, everyone has their off days. An idiot sidekick that's just there to be rude. What is that refer? Are you referring to ZeroEscape still? I think we're supposed to be memeing up ZeroEscape, right? An idiot sidekick, or are we just talking? Are you just talking about stereotypes in general from visual novels? Um, Gosh. Well, 999 had 3 girls to choose from. The very rude Lotus, but she had big boobies, so we forgave her. Clover, who I thought was a really sympathetic, great character, and I was really glad that they gave equal opportunity psychopaths, that there was one ending where a female actually was the villain. But I mean, she, misinformed villain, she did it maliciously, but she was misinformed. Um, and then there was Akane, who I didn't care much for. She was just, she was too nice, and also she didn't end up even being genuine because she was actually like the mastermind or whatever. But too nice. And then we got Virtue's last reward, where there was 4 female. We got Clover again, but she felt very different. She felt stupider. I remember her being pretty smart in 99, where she like calculated a bunch of stuff, and then she felt stupider in VLR. Alice, who had big boobies, but I didn't forgive her that time because she tried to kill me. Um, then we had who else was in that game? Oh yeah, there was also Luna, who was also very nice, and I didn't really care for. I don't know. Maybe I just don't like nice people. Am I a bad person? Um, but no, I didn't really care much for Luna. And then the fourth one, there was a fourth lady. Who was the fourth? Oh, Fi, right. She was a bit of a snarker. I thought she got a little bitchy at times, but I liked her okay. And then we got to Zero Time Dilemma. How many female were in that game? I think it was 4 again. Because they went 6-3 in 999, but they killed off one of the guys really quickly, so it went 5-3. VLR and Zero Time Dilemma both went 4-4 with the main character being a guy. Well, no, that was VLR. How did Zero Time Dilemma do it? How many girls were there? There's a psycho lady who had big boobs, and yeah, she was a psycho, but I forgave her because she was a psycho, and she was a hot psycho. And then there was who else was? We had Deanna. Was that her name? Who Loon was based off? Didn't really care for her either. Um, I really did like the giving birth scene. That I liked a lot, but in general, I wasn't a huge fan of Diana Diantha. What was her name? I forget. Um, Fi was in the game again. Same thing. A little bitchy at times, but yeah, I like her snarkiness. And let's see. I'm trying to do the math. And then Akane. Yeah. Akane was the fourth one. It was four and five. And I was not a fan of Akane in that one because she was like she wasn't nice. She was more of a bitch, but like they all acted, she was like acting the same way, and she was like the same person, but she wasn't the same person. She was different, but she acted like nothing was different, and I didn't like it very much. Okay, and then in Ever17, we had Yubise, we had Samugi? No, Tsugumi. Wait, which is which? No, she was Tsugumi. Danganronpa's Samugi, right? No, wait, I don't remember. You guys know what I'm talking about. Um, and then we had what's her face? Green hair lady. She was also nice. I actually liked her. She was a nice lady, but I liked how they handled her. I think because her character arc was kind of interesting, and so I liked her more. As far as nice ladies go, I think she's my favorite nice lady of the games he's done. Um, I also did like Tsugumi and or Samugi. I forget which her name was. Tsugumi, right? Samugi is Danganronpa, right? I'm just gonna call her Tsugumi for now, and if I'm remembering incorrectly, oops. Um, but yeah, Tsugumi. She was kind of a bitch, but like she had reasons for being a bitch, and it made a lot of sense, so I forgave her. And then I liked you a lot. You I liked a lot. She was probably my de facto waifu of that game. And then they also had Mayo. That's right, I like Mayo a lot. Speaking of Mayo, haha, Fate Stay Night. Um, but anyways, yeah, I liked Maya a lot. She was more the cheerful, chipper type. Again, that was four ladies, so it seems like and yeah, and then but in that game it was mostly lady. No, because there was also Coco, the dreaded Coco. I forgot about her. Yeah, there was five ladies in that game. Ooh. But then there was two guys, Shonen, and because it depended on which side of the story you were looking at, because you played as one of the guys and the other guy was there, and then there was a bunch of ladies. But that's because Ever17 was more of a. So it seems like the number of ladies to expect, it's five if it's lacking on guys, it's four if it's evenly split, and it's three if there's a lot of guys. But that's, I mean, assuming there's 9 people. In Ever17, there was 7 people. Oh, Ever17, 7 people. I didn't even think about that. Mind blown. Um, what else am I talking about? How many female? That's right. How many waifus do I think there'll be in this upcoming game? Well, geez, we had 3, 4, 4, and 5. Will there be epic trivia lesson inside a refrigerator? Epic trivia lesson inside a refrigerator. Jog my memory. When was that, Anonymous? But I think there will be that averages to 4. The average is definitely 4 females. 4 females to choose from to have as waifus. To be fair, this main character looks a bit older. So and the cat girl in question that I think you like looks on the cover or is sold with the Amazon version. She looks like underage, so it's possible we're playing as an older guy in this one. To be fair, basically most of the cast was older in the ZeroEscape games. Ever17, I think they were more underaged-ish, or 16-ish. I don't know. I think the main character's name is Kaname. I want to say Kaname. I could be wrong about that. But and he looks older, and so he maybe looks too old. So that would be gross because it's pedophilic. However, I could just say that I'm not being a pedophile, even though, I mean, I'm also above age. So if it's someone underage, it would be pedophilic. But I can just pretend they're a dragon, which actually makes them 100 years old, right? So I can potentially have any of them as my waifu. That's how it works, right? Practically the entire ZeroEscape with random scientific monologues. Epic trivia left inside a refrigerator. Well, okay, sure, but what do you mean inside a refrigerator? I thought you were talking about a specific instance where someone gave a monologue inside a. Oh, 9 hours, 9 persons, 9 doors. Right, they were inside a refrigerator and they had to get out. But instead of getting out, they were like, "Hey, let's stop and talk about this really interesting thing instead of waiting to talk about it when we get out." That was rather dumb. I will not lie. That was rather dumb. I like science, as long as I don't have to actually take notes. I like science. I like random trivia. I like trivia. I like it when people stop and just talk for a long time. I like talking for a long time. But like, and stuff and things. Um, let's see here. any other thoughts about previous games and thoughts going into the next game? Well, cheese and crackers, man. It'd be nice if the main character was not voiced. I like how they've done that in the past. I don't know. Because Ever17, once you choose a character to play as, the main character is not voiced. Granted, there's this whole thing where you're playing as a different shonen in Ever17, so it's like it's not voiced, but it's like it would give away the spoiler. ZeroEscape did the same thing with VLR. You're playing as the right person. You're just playing in the wrong age, so he would have had a different voice. 999 had no voices. Um, and then Zero Time Dilemma, there was no one main character, so I kind of forgave the game. Well, you could argue Q was the point of view character, and he never really voiced lines until he became relevant. So I don't know. I like it when the main character doesn't voice their own voices. It lets me connect more with the main character. However, I'm not sure if this is going to be that same kind of type of game. Um, so I don't know. I personally like. I don't know what the art style or the cutscene style is gonna be like. I don't think it's gonna be super visual novel esque. I don't know. It might be. It might be visual novel esque, like 99 and VLR. And in that case, I think it really works good when the main character is not voiced. I like that a lot. I did not like how in the 999 remake they made Junpei voiced. I think that was a bad decision. Objectively, they farted up, especially because then for no reason Sigma's unvoiced in VLR. But it may, it's because you're supposed to not know that he's going to be unvoiced in VLR. I mean, you're supposed to. It's supposed to be normal that he's unvoiced in VLR because I mean nobody was voiced in 99, so you just assume it's a stylistic choice. But then it matters because Sigma's unvoiced because it's a plot twist. But like 99, when they went back and they voiced it for the remake, they let Junpei keep his voice. Now look, I personally don't like that choice for Junpei's voice very much, but that's irrelevant. Even if I loved the voice they chose for him, I do not think he should have had a voice in 999. That's my stance, and I'm sticking with it. Um. Anyways, what was I saying? Oh yeah. I like it when the main character's unvoiced in a visual novel setting, but I don't know how visual novel-esque this will be, because Zero Time Dilemma, it trimmed the line with is this really a visual novel? It was sort of ongoing cutscenes. I'm pretty sure this game has a higher budget than Zero Time Dilemma. I don't know how much visual novel-esque it'll be. I really don't. Now, to be fair, there's also the Danganronpa approach. In the Danganronpa approach, characters are only voiced full-time in, like, class trials. But then, out and about, they're not voiced, which again gives me a chance to connect with the main character. I don't know. I just want a chance to connect with the main character. I assume this will be visual novel-esque. I generally play visual novel-esque games. Or there's, like, the Personas, where the main character just doesn't talk. Um, that's most of what I've played in recent times. Um, but yeah. So this game, if there's a if it's not visual novel-y, and the main character voice has a voice, and it's not even an RPG, and it's gonna be weird. I'm pretty sure it's still gonna be visual novel-y. I don't know. What do you think about dialogue options that give the same response? What do you mean? Like Steins Gate, where you can individually choose voices and choose characters to turn the voice off for? I think that's fine if they don't show you everyone from the beginning. I looked at actually Fate Stay Night, and I like how Fate Stay Night does it, where the characters show up as you play the game. Like, it doesn't start by showing you every single character. I believe, I've never played Steins Gate, but I've seen the anime, and I've seen a couple people play it. To my understanding, like, every character shows up on the list from the start in Steins Gate, where you can change their voices. I think that's a problem. I think you should wait until the character shows up to be able to switch them. Dialogue boxes with two options that don't matter. Wait, what do you mean that don't matter? Dialogue boxes with two options that don't matter. But also, I will say, I don't always think that dialogue options are good. I know some people, okay, I don't always think, it depends. Some people always say, oh, choice is a good thing, choice is a good thing. I don't know about that. I think sometimes the superior experience is one or the other, and the developers should know better. I don't know. It's one of those things, how should I put this? How should I put this? Like, if they gave you an option to voice or not voice Junpei in 999, the remake, that wouldn't matter. Because in Virtue's Last Reward, there is no option. You cannot voice Sigma, and it makes sense that you can't, because if you heard his voice, that would be a big spoiler. And so it's like, it's sometimes even giving you the option isn't good enough. Sometimes the option has to not be there, and they just have to pick the right option in the first place. Now, I will say, options to adjust the volume and audio settings are very much appreciated. I think ZeroEscape hasn't been very good about giving you options to adjust them, but they've generally been just good in general. But the Persona 4 will forever make me grateful for, volume options, because I think the volume audio balancing in Persona 4 is atrocious, and there's no way to edit it. But hey, I was already through that before. If you saw my playthrough, you know how much that bugged me. I mean, obviously being able to balance things like game audio versus character voices and stuff, that's great. I want that. But whether the voices are there or not in the first place is a different... I mean, if you can balance voices, you can probably turn the voices all the way off. But text speed would be nice. Something that bugged me about VLR's text speed. Something that bugged me about VLR's text speed was that, the whole voice would play out as the line... Like, the voice came slightly before the text. I like it when the text comes before the voice. At least a little bit. Because that gives you an indication of when the line is done. When the voice comes first and the voice stops talking and the text is struggling to keep up with the voice, you might think the line is over, but it's actually not. It's the same problem I've been having with my Fate Stay Night, because I don't fluently speak Japanese, is that I think they're done talking, but they're not. And VLR gives me that problem for us in a different way. It gave me that problem occasionally, where the voice came before the text, I believe, and so I every now and then I was like, are you done talking? I don't know. I'd like, if not for the text to always be in front of it, for the option to be in front of it. That's something where I don't think an option really matters. But there are certain cases where I think having voices versus not having voices, the voices can do a lot for a game, don't get me wrong. But more and more, I'm starting to think, you don't need voices for a high-quality game. You can take... I think 99's a great experience without voices, and you can... because it allows for a lot more interpretation. Now, the Japanese language in general allows for interpretation, but not having voices allows for a lot more interpretation, because, you can be like, oh, is he saying it sarcastically? Is he saying this line this way? It lets you interpret, and I like that. When you put voices, they force the interpretation on you. Now, I liked it in VLR. I was okay with it, because you could still interpret your own lines. That's, again, why I like having the main character not really have the voice. But other characters, their interpretations were themselves, and I can sort of see the logic behind that. But I do like the interpretation idea of just don't do voices. If you give the option to voice or not to voice for every character, you may be missing nuance that the voice actor gives through, like they might sarcastically say a line a certain way, or they might, do X or Y. And maybe that's the point. In that case, maybe they shouldn't even let you turn the voices off, as turning the voices off, you may miss a subtle nuance that's important to the narrative. But at the same alter time, it may be important that and again, but it's you gotta be very particular when you're voicing like that if you're gonna have nuances. Because with voices off, it lets the player interpret the nuance. And depending on the kind of game you're going for, like if you're going for a very open-ended game, the player interprets things their own way, having no voices can... Anyways, I've just started to think that a lot recently, that voices... they can be used very effectively, but also I don't think they're needed, and sometimes they're a distraction. And I think in 99's case, putting them in the remake was a distraction. That's my opinion. Do you expect difficult puzzles? Do I think puzzles will have, a difficulty rating? In 99, they had decently challenging puzzles, I'd say. VLR did this weird thing where they had, 2 levels of puzzles, where there was the regular puzzle and the gold file puzzle. And I think that was handled poorly, because the gold file ended up being just a twist on the last puzzle of every given puzzle for the most part in VLR, and I didn't like that. The way I saw VLR's gold files initially was, okay, you'll have the main file, which will be the main puzzle, but if you want a harder challenge, here's the gold file. And sometimes it was harder, but it was always a twist on the last puzzle. It never expected you to do some crazy twist partway through and then go down other puzzles that are harder. And that's one way of balancing difficulty they didn't go for. What they did do is they made it so that if you go on easier difficulty settings, your partners will be smarter and they will figure things out better. I like that a lot, to be honest. That was probably my favorite thing about VLR with its difficulty, was that if you're on hard mode, your friends and partners are idiots and they don't know anything. They can't figure anything out. You have to figure everything out yourself. If you're on easy mode, they're smarter and figure things out more easily. And they're like, hey, have you thought of this, main character? I like that a lot, honestly. I think that's a great idea. Now, that only works when you actually have friends and partners around you. If your character's alone, I mean, what are you going to do, right? And then Zero Time Dilemma, I don't remember if there were even difficulty settings at all. Do I expect difficult puzzles? Okay, let's get back to that. Do I expect difficult? If there are difficulty levels, I'd love it if it was done that way, where your partners are smarter the easier difficulty you're on. Now, how hard do I think the puzzles will be in general? I don't know. I'm not expecting anything too crazy difficult unless there's optional puzzles. But, I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. What even puzzles are there going to be? Like, I don't know. I mean, Ever17 was just straight visual novel, and there was choices, and that was it. There was no puzzles. 99 games, there were puzzles. I don't know how much like the 99 games this is going to be. I think I've heard something. I want to say I've heard something about dreams. About, like, maybe I'm remembering wrong, but, like, you inspect people's dreams, and that's where the mini games come from, and that's the puzzles. It's related to people's dreams, I think. Don't quote me on that. I think I just read that somewhere at some point. If that's the case, that could certainly be interesting, because if you can see inside people's dreams or see inside people's minds, hey, maybe use your eye to see inside the mind's eye. Ooh, if you can see inside their mind, then that gives you the potential. If you see inside their psyche, like it'll tell you more. Oh, is X or Y lying, or are they telling the truth? And dreams generally give away if they're lying or not, but not always. Dreams can be weird and funky and betray what they're actually thinking. And you can ask the question, how much is this subconscious? How much is this conscious? The one thing in Ever17 where you had to till the card to get the answer. Oh, yeah! I thought I cheated when I did that. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, I got this, holy shit! I didn't actually figure out. Didn't I just guess? Or something? Like, I didn't figure it out at all. And I'm like, are you supposed to get that? I thought there was supposed to be a clue that you were supposed to get from a different playthrough and bring to that timeline. And nope, you were just supposed to figure it out by being smart. But I was smart by guessing, I think. I remember that. That was funny. I mean, that's sort of a puzzle. That's as close to a puzzle as Ever17 got. It's like, it's a visual novel. It's multiple choices in a row related to a thing. And that's as close as Ever17 got to a puzzle. Hold on, I'm gonna check something. So far, my game of Somnium files has not unlocked my Nintendo Switch. Let's see if I can do it now. Of course, I'm not actually streaming the game right now. I don't even have my recorder turned on. But I'll turn it on in a few hours. I think I've talked most about my thoughts. I might just shoot the shit for a few minutes. But I'm going to check. Let's see here. Alright, now if I try Somnium files, because it hasn't opened for me yet, which is bothering me. Okay, check if the software can be played. Yeah? 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 You cannot play this software yet. I don't know what the fuck, man. I thought it was supposed to unlock at midnight, or if not, it would be like 3 a.m. It still hasn't unlocked for me yet. Let me know. Are you experiencing similar issues? Now, I do know that a lot of the time, the system updates. It's like it's supposed to unlock at midnight theoretically, but my system tends to update at noon. And so if it's going to update at noon, that's fine, because I plan on starting to stream at noon. And so that's why I'm not freaking out too much. But, yeah, it still hasn't unlocked for me. Which is silly, but I know that a lot of the updates tend to happen at noon, so I think I'm fine. I hope. Let me actually turn the power off on this system again. Because I do know that's another thing, is that a lot of the time, doing a hard turn off and turn on can fix these issues. So I'm not putting in sleep mode right now. Okay, where were we? I don't know. We're nowhere. We're just shooting the shit, right? Haven't I talked about most of my stuff? It's been like what, half an hour? Let me check. Yeah, so it's been like half an hour. I think I've talked a lot about anything in particular. I guess I will talk about how one thing I'm thinking about. I don't think I'm gonna do this until I get a bit bigger. Is that I'm thinking about the idea of making, I don't know, two chat rooms. This is something I basically see nobody use, but the reason I would do it would be for a non-spoiler chat and a spoiler chat. So if people wish to discuss, let's say, spoilers of Somnium files while I was streaming it, I would have the spoiler chat. I think it's unlikely that there will be too many people who will want to discuss spoilers for Somnium files because the game just came out. However, if let's say I get to one thing I'm thinking about is that let's say when I do Persona 5, which I'll probably stream, and I'm planning on doing like the new fancy, super fancy Persona 5 when that comes out. Um, I think that is an occasion where I may make two chat rooms, and that makes a lot of sense for a game like that. Because even though it's going to be like the new fancy version, so there'll be a lot of hype for it, there'll also be a lot of people who are very familiar with the game. So in that case, it would make sense to have a second chat room for people to just talk about spoilers. So I'm thinking I may mess around with the idea of a second chat room. Maybe we're not going to do that for but maybe in future that might be something I look into. For people that have already played, like especially in cases like that, where yes, it's a new game, so a lot of people are probably curious to check playthroughs out, but a lot of people have probably already played the game themselves, so it makes sense to have a second chat. Um, anyways, what was I? Yeah, what was I 75. I think this is long enough. I think we've gone for like 30 minutes. Um, any other thoughts about this game before I play it? Any other spoilers that I want to discuss from ZeroEscape and Ever17? Because I'm planning on not doing that when I get to the main playthrough. I don't want discussion of that kind in the main playthrough. Let's see here. Anything else I want to talk about in regards to spoilers? Um, yeah, if there's a flowchart, if there's multiple timelines, the flowchart, I hope they do the flowchart not the way they did it in VLR. Oh, I hated that so much. Please. Um, let's see here. If there are multiple endings, no, that's a case by case basis. Any alien technology? Alien technology, that's true. Because there was that one thing in Zero Time Dilemma where they had the pods, right? And nobody knew where the pods came from. And that was like the crux of the physical time travel. Um, because if you can somehow go in dreams, that's right. How realistic is this game going to be? How true to life? Because 999 felt fairly, grounded until, morphogenic bullshit. Um, and then Zero Time Dilemma took a spin on that, being like, oh, morphogenic bullshit, plus, plus what? Plus, we have physical time travel with these pods that were randomly discovered. And then Ever17, had the whole Blick Winkle thing, which, but like, how grounded in reality is this game gonna be? If there's that's the question. If there's a way to dive into people's dreams, is that just a thing that is commonplace in like? Is this just a futuristic setting where they have technology to technologically dive into someone's dreams? Because that is, in a sense, grounded in reality. It's sci-fi, but it's not like, oh, we randomly can just go into dreams with magic. Now, if magic gets involved, that's a whole other level of what? Now, you can still have a magic system that is well explained and can be used for theories and predictions. However, there's a big saying that generally in detective stories, and this is apparently you're playing as a detective trying to catch a killer, right? You want to keep things as grounded as possible to reality, so that when thinking about what possible methods the criminal could have used to the crime, you focus your mindset on things would be real in real life. If you go get to too many magical things involved, and you've thoroughly explained the magical things, and a magical method was used that could give it away because you've went through the trouble of explaining the magical method. You don't want to explain the method the criminal's using until it happens, but you want to give a chance for the player, the character, or the viewer to figure it out, which means it has to be some not common sense thing they could just know without the game explaining it to them, or without the work of fiction explaining to them what this supposed method was. The player just has to be able to know based on common sense, and if it's using a magic system, it's not common sense. So if you explain the magic system, and then part of that magic system is used in, like, the trick of the killing, that's a big hint and potentially... I don't know. You can still do magic systems and have them be logical and stuff. It's just in detective settings specifically, you want to keep things as grounded as possible. And if you're going to have sci-fi or magic elements, you want to keep them limited a lot of the time. I do think fancy futuristic crimes can be cool, but you still need the heart of it to be grounded somewhat in reality. If it's all grounded in BS magic sci-fi stuff, it comes off as, well, BS. Hope they're not going to introduce... new characters right at the end game. Okay, yeah. Zero Time Dilemma. Yeah, I really didn't like that, by the way. Let's talk about reveals. Okay, let's talk about reveals. At some point, I want to do a whole video on... You know what? Let's talk about that, actually, before I end this. At some point, I may do a whole video on plot twists and revealing hidden characters, because I think that... Zero Time Dilemma especially had a very shitty plot twist as to who the villain was, because they weren't a real character. Like, this wheelchair person, there was a plot twist that there was a hidden 10th person among them the whole time. That was a legitimate plot twist. However, who this person was is basically nobody. Who is this person? Oh, he's Sigma's son. Who is Sigma's son? Oh, he's Delta. Who is Delta? Oh, he's brother. Who is brother? It's this nonstop question of, who is this person? I don't know you. They answered the bunch of questions with the answer, it's this person. But you've never met this person before. You have no inkling as to what they're like. So it's not a twist. It doesn't affect your mind correctly. Because you're supposed to be like, holy shit, this person I thought was nice is actually evil? Holy shit, this person I've never heard of is actually evil? Wait, that's not weird. I've never heard of them. Sure, they're evil. Makes sense. That's the problem with it. If you don't know them, if you don't think you know them, then it doesn't matter. So, yeah, like, who is Sigma's son? Who is brother? Who is Zero? Who is... all of these questions. Like, Zero is just, they're all the same thing. Zero is just a title given to a character who will eventually be revealed through a plot twist. Same thing for who is Sigma's son? Who is Delta? Who is brother? Who is all these things? By themselves, they're just titles. We know someone wears the title, and the implication is someone we're already familiar with wears this title, and that's going to be the twist. And that's why we have to think, holy shit, somebody I know is actually going to be this person? That's crazy. When you find out it's someone you've never met before, it's meaningless. It's like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter even, like, the plot twist that, oh shit, Zero is Delta, and Delta is Sigma's son, that means nothing if we don't know who... we have to know what at least one of those variables equals. Think of it like a math equation. Like, x equals 5 plus 5, for example. Oh shit, so it's like, for example, brother, let's say the title of brother is X. Now let's say the person of Junpei, for example. We know Junpei very well. So Junpei is not X. He's not an X variable. He's 5. Junpei is 5. Akane is 6. Akane is 6, right? Now, it turns out Akane is 0. Holy shit. So what does that mean? X, which is Akane in theory, equals 6. Holy shit, X equals 6. Now let's take Zero Time Dilemma into the equation. Who is brother? Let's call that variable X. Who is Zero? Let's call that variable Y. Who is this mysterious 10th person? Let's call that variable Z. Who is Sigma's son? Let's call that variable... I got all the way through X through Z. Let's call it variable A. Okay, now it's revealed that X equals Y equals Z equals A. What the fuck does that tell you? Absolutely nothing. You have no number you can put in there to actually solve the equation. It's just a bunch of things that's saying, oh, X is Y is Z is A, so they're all X, but it's still just X. You have no number. I hope you guys are following that. But basically, if you don't know the person beforehand, the twist that they're evil means nothing. So the twist in Zero Time Dilemma, where this this person, this wheelchaired man, this, like, it was so many variables, but we didn't know this person at all before, so all the variables equaled nothing except for themselves. And that was a big issue with the reveal in Zero Time Dilemma, in my opinion. 999, they had a couple variables, and I think they were both handled fairly well. Ace ended up being, let's call him variable H, who was the villain who set up the Nonary game in the past. Oh shit, it was Ace, and that means something. Who is the villain that actually is, orchestrating this whole Nonary game now in the present? It's Akane and Santa together. Holy shit, that means something. Because I think I know these people. VLR, the twist with Dio, I don't like how the reveals worked. I'm going to talk about that in a second. That's a different kind of problem. They had the right idea. You still sort of got to know Dio. I just don't think the reveal was handled well, and I'll talk about that in a second. Where was I? The twist with Sigma and the twist with Sigma being Zero in VLR, I think worked to an extent. It worked in a different way because Sigma, not the Sigma we knew. Zero was not the Sigma we knew. Zero was actually a future Sigma, but that still works in a sense. Because even though this variable is equaling not the Sigma we knew, and to be fair, not the Sigma we knew isn't someone we know, however, it's someone in their future self. We know Sigma will eventually grow up to be this person who ends up being Zero. So the twist still works on that level. And so it's still like, holy shit, this person I thought I knew all along will grow up to be the bad guy? What? So the equation still works. Because we know part of Sigma. I like how Sigma never looked at his own hands the entire time. Yeah, that's pretty silly. In Ever17, there was no villain, but the way it worked was that the Mastermind was one of them. And, what was I saying? The Mastermind is one of them. And so, even though they're not a villain, they were the one controlling the strings the whole time. And they are a character we got to know. Well, actually, it was a combination of a couple characters working together, but we got to know them. And so it mattered when the reveal happened. Talking about who's behind the mask. The mask is a similar thing to who is Zero. When you have a mask, there's always this implication that when you take off the mask, it'll be something you're familiar with. Now, that's part of the problem I had with, there was that evil pharmacy company that connects to all the named characters. That's true, but it's not like 999 where, secretly, someone from the previous game is in this game. It's not the same thing. There was no evil people in E17. It's true that evil people set things up in the past, but none of those people who set things up in the past were present in E17's main narrative. None of them. That wasn't a reveal that ever happened. And I think that's fine in the context of the way the game worked, but that's E17. What was I talking about? Right, the reveal that K is Sigma. Let's talk about that for a second. K is not actually Sigma, but you know what I mean. So they're wearing a mask. You're wearing a mask, right? If you're wearing a mask, the implication, it's another variable. It's just like X. It's just like the name Zero or the name K, the mask. The idea is when you take off this mask, it'll be someone we already know about. It will be a variable we can plug into the equation to be like, now in the case of Zero Time Dilemma, the mask coming off was nothing. There was nothing under that mask. I didn't like that twist very much. I sort of got where they were going for in that he was nothing, but you always expect it to be something, and you're thinking about what the something is going to be. And when the something is nothing, it sort of bugs me. I mean, it works to an extent in that game. I wasn't a huge fan, but I understood it. The fact that it happened in the same game where we got the twist where X equals Y equals Z equals A with Zero didn't help. But in VLR, the twist that K equals Sigma is a twist for shock value, and I think it works. But like, it doesn't have the same sort of impact that a twist that say, Ace is this evil person has. And the reason the same sort of impact is not there is because, what was I saying? The reason the same sort of impact isn't there is because it can't be real. Let's go with that. When K takes off his mask and you see Sigma, you just have to ask yourself, once you actually get to asking yourself, once you get past the initial shock value, I think that twist works for shock value, and I think shock value twists are, as long as you use them sparingly, they're okay. I just like it when twists actually have meat after that. They have the realization factor of, oh, that's what this means, because that's usually what a plot twist is, oh, that's what this means. In the case of K being Sigma, there's no, oh, that's what this means. There's a, wait, what? Huh? How does that make sense? How can K be Sigma? I'm Sigma. It just brings up further questions. And now, you can do that sometimes as long as those further questions are answered in a later plot twist. And they sort of are, but like, in the case of K being Sigma, you still have to ask yourself, okay, what could this mean? Either Sigma is cloned, and if Sigma is cloned, what does that mean? That gives credence to the idea that Sigma is 0, which is something I thought about, and which is why I wasn't too surprised when it was revealed. If memory serves, it's been a while since that playthrough. I believe I wasn't too surprised when it was revealed. Because, and a big reason for that was K looking like Sigma. My thought was that, either, like, there could be, like, a consciousness swap, or we think we're playing as Sigma, like, but we're actually playing as someone who swapped their consciousness with K. That's an idea. Or it's, like, a clone. And so, there's reveals that just lead to more questions, and then there's reveals that just give answers. So as far as reveals that, give answers, reveals that lead to more questions, yada, yada, yada. Now let's talk about how to execute a reveal. This will be the last thing. This video has been going on for a while. I want it to hit about an hour. We're actually at almost an hour, so that's great. I do think that Dio's reveal in VLR was not handled well. Here's one problem. There are a good thing about 999, I think, with Ace's reveal is there was only one playthrough. Well, actually, there's two. There's two playthroughs where he is revealed as a villain, but one of the playthroughs is locked off until you hit the other playthrough. So, in 999, there's only one playthrough where Ace is 0. Or not 0, but you know what I mean. The variable. He's the bad guy. And they only do that in one playthrough, and generally speaking, I think that's a good idea, because you can handle the one reveal well. If you do it in multiple playthroughs, your player, and if you can do them in any order, your player may be getting a subpar experience. If they get one playthrough first, and they hit a shitty reveal, and then get the good reveal in their later playthrough, they're like, oh shit, I wish I saw this reveal first. So I think that's a potential problem. You can in theory balance it so they're equally good reveals, but it's very hard. And so generally speaking, I think reveals like that it has to happen in this playthrough. And if it is revealed in other playthroughs, they should be locked off until that playthrough and that moment has been shown and that reveal has happened. Now let's talk about Dio. First of all, there were about 2 or 3 different ways that Dio was revealed as the villain. You can do them in any order. They're all shit. One thing that, again, this is going to get my opinion. You may not agree with me. Hear me out, please, or don't, whatever. First of all, there's 2 or 3. When I saw my first Dio reveal, I was like, wait, what? This is how they reveal it? No. Oh, is there another pathway where they do this better? There was another pathway where they did it differently. It wasn't better. It was still bad. So, Dio being a villain, wow, what a shocker, considering how much of an ass he was the entire time. Which they revealed Sigma as 0, not after they showed that 0 wasn't evil to begin with. It would leave room to speculate if it was hinted before. Which they revealed Sigma as 0, not after they showed that 0 wasn't evil. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, well, show that Sigma 0 before, not after means before they show, yeah, well, I can sort of, yeah, I mean, I can go both ways, it sort of depends, it can work both ways potentially, but as far as reveals go, Dio, yes, he was an ass. I don't really mind the ass being the villain, but here's the thing, first of all, I thought it was very cool and calculating when Dio, the idea that Dio was super selfish enough to use Quark's medicine as leverage to get out was really sinister, but not a reveal of him being the, bad guy bomber or the bad guy mole. It was a reveal of him being a douchebag, but it wasn't necessarily a reveal of him being the bad guy. The fact that he also ended up being the bad guy, I think, is rather silly. Kono Dio da! Yeah. I know what that means now. I can read that. It means this is Dio. Although I guess it could also be this was me Dio or it was me Dio. It can work, implied. Um Anyways, what was I saying? Oh, right. So about reveals and Dio, because what are the two ways that I didn't go back and check, but I think the main ways he was revealed was number one, when you were checking for evidence of whose bracelet had the smudge, you found Dio. You found Dio had his bracelet was covered with you were using what's it called, where you can examine to see if they have leave any marks, and if you turn the light off, you can see I forget what the term is, but like you see blood stains on it. Like they were, you tried to wipe them away, but this certain fluid reveals it. I'm for luminol. Is that? I remember. I forget off the top of my head what it's actually called. But you can reveal the blood stain, and we saw Dio's blood stain. But yeah, that's right. There's three pathways where this happens. There's two pathways with the blood stain. There's one pathway with something else. You get one pathway where everybody's alive and you're examining it. This is the pathway where actually has K revealed to kill Dio, which I thought was a good reveal. And then it was revealed that he was Sigma, and that was just on top of it. I thought that was handled really well. However, the actual thing of Dio being the killer of the old woman, I think was handled poorly, because you just all of a sudden see that his bracelet is ripe with blood. And I remember when I first saw that, I'm like, that's a red herring. There's no way that's true. It was true. That's all there was to it. It was too simple. But again, the other thing I thought was, oh shit, did I get spoiled in a bad playthrough? No. I don't even remember which one of these I did first, but it doesn't matter. They're all bad. Then there was the one where it was theorized Luna was killing everyone. In reality, Dio killed everyone, and then K in retribution killed Dio. So that's how everyone ended up dying. There was also the numbers that Clover tried to carve in blood or whatever, which was like 016. And, I was like, oh, obviously that's pointing to Dio. And nobody talked about it. Nobody brought up that could mean Dio. They brought up that could mean Luna's code. And that is just such an obvious giveaway. If everyone just jumps first to Luna's code and doesn't even think about Dio, that means it was Dio who did it, obviously. And I thought that might have been a red herring. Nope, that was true. It's too simple. That's what I think I'm getting at. The reveals, they lack the punch that I think they need. Then there was, the one where you think everyone's dead, where you think Luna killed everyone. You find Dio. You find him with the bracelet, with the blood in it, and you figure that out, and you see that, and you're like, oh, wait, does that mean Dio killed the old woman? Yes, it's not even a red herring. I think a situation like that is they're going to use that as a fast one to make us think it's that simple. And then there's the one with the bombs. The only ending you can get without any to be continued is the one where you escape with Dio, and then like Fi jumps into her body from an alternate timeline, and then she grills Dio on, where's the number 0 bomb? And this brings up the question of, oh shit, Dio knows about the bombs. And then we even see Dio messing with the bombs. And you could see this before even really knowing about the bombs. And then it's like, where's the 0 bomb? Oh, so there's a 0 bomb. I think I have a whole problem with that scene in general, because it brings up the 0 bomb in a time paradox. But anyways, it brings up the idea of Dio being the bomber, which is different than killing the old woman, but apparently it's both, in a world where you potentially don't even know the bombs exist yet. That is so dumb. If you go and find out about the bombs later, you just assume that's got to be a red herring. They know they give it away like that so casually. It's not a red herring. It's just Dio. It's just Dio. It's just Dio. They did it in 3 different ways. I thought they were all handled poorly. But anyways, okay. What have you been saying? I find it funny how VLR's brother plan was to sabotage the Jump project. In retrospect, that would completely ruin Zero Time. Yeah, brother knew. I think he needed everything to go exactly as it did. If VLR did not happen exactly as it did, Zero Time Dilemma wouldn't have worked out. That's a problem I have with Zero Time Dilemma. I sort of like it in retrospect in a way, because it makes Dio being an idiot sort of make sense. Dio was supposed to be the leader of the Myrmidons. I think that's stupid because he was stupid. I think that's another problem. Dio did stupid things as a villain. I don't think he wasn't handled as a smart villain because he was apparently the leader of the Myrmidons, and I think he did a lot of dumb actions. And so compared to Ace, who I think was very smart, and he was apparently, oh, he was only working for Brother. I think there's a lot of things that make me like that whole situation, that make me in 99, whereas in VLR I don't like it as much. But part of it is build up with reveals. You need build up. You need to be like, we're about to reveal X. If you don't say that and then you just reveal X out of nowhere, it's like, oh, what? You're joking. That's not X. You need the time to build up is big. Like in 99, there was the whole scheme, how Junpei went through the scheme of, oh, I'll do this, and oh, Santa, give me your bracelet. I'm joking, Ace. I'm not actually Santa or whatever. He did that whole thing, and then it was revealed. And I think that was handled well, with the exception that he read the note that said it was Hongo, and you could have already made the connection because Ace told you. And that was slightly, I think, they blew the little too early. But for the most part, I think they handled that well. But in VLR, Dio, it was like 3 different ways to reveal it, and they were all bad. Anyways, what? Luna is such a sweet girl all the time. She was practically never a suspect to the player. What do you mean? That's why she was a suspect. Are you kidding me? Super sweet girl, especially after in 99, the super sweet girl, Akane, was the villain. I mean, that gives credence to think Luna's not going to be the villain in this one. And she wasn't a villain, but she was a domo origato misto robato. Yeah. Temioji being Junpei was a full giveaway as soon as young Akane's photo pops up, which logically means something's wrong with current date. And they never mention this up again until the ending. Yeah. I think, you're bringing up good points, Amonimus. Temioji being Junpei was a full giveaway. Yeah, when I saw that picture, it makes you question, wait, how is this person related to Akane? Yes, there's a big theory that this person is Junpei. That definitely leads towards it. And it also brings up the question but yeah. I remember thinking, that's too obvious. Maybe this is like Santa or something. But it didn't end up quite being that. That especially works out with seeing the dead old woman. And, the way Temioji reacts, it's like, oh, Junpei Akane. And then also how the way Temioji interacts with Clover sometimes. There was enough hinting without needing to show that picture. That picture really did, I think, hurt the giveaway. There was enough hinting without that picture, but that picture really beats you over the head. The picture by itself wouldn't have given a clear indication. That could have been like Santa or something. But the picture on top of the other hinting they did, especially with Clover, and her interactions with Temioji, definitely gave it away. But yeah, they waited till the very end to reveal it. Something's wrong with current date. Yeah, I think VLR has a lot of problems with a lot of their reveals. I think VLR is a fun ride, but I think it misses the mark on a lot of its reveals. I think, in contrast, Zero Time Dilemma actually does its reveals really well. It's just what it's revealing is generally bad. Like, for example, as I said, who is Zero? Who is Brother? Who is Delta? They are all the same person. And who is that? Nobody. I think that reveal was done very fucking well. I remember even getting super excited that reveal. I was like, holy shit, this is awesome. But then it ended up, once I started to understand what this reveal was implying, I was like, wait, this is stupid. This is nobody. I do think that reveal was done very well, but there's a difference. There's a well-handled reveal, and then there's what the reveal actually means. Something like that. I think Zero Time Dilemma had good reveals, but bad payoff. Let's use the word payoff. Whereas, in theory, VLR could have had very good payoff, but it had bad reveals. I think 999 had pretty good payoff and pretty good reveals. I think 999 was the best at when it came to that. And as far as E17, I think it was pretty good. I think there was nothing that ever got me as mad as the stuff from VLR as far as bad reveals go. I don't remember if they explained how Alice was able to do both options in one AB game. I don't know about that. I think I'm going to stop here. I think I've been going on for about an hour. But yeah, so I think I've just talked a lot about my thoughts. If any more thoughts come up, I might do them, or if any thoughts come up during the course of the playthrough, I'll probably do them during like a break, like a 30-minute, because I do a 30-minute break during each of my streams. If I do one, I'll give a warning that I'm going to do it, and I'll talk about spoilers in relation to the older games. If I do them, I'll do them during the 30-minute break. So now you know.